They say the prairie forgets, but I know better. Some things out here don't get buried. Not under dust, not under time, not even under blood. I still remember the night I bought a woman for $200 and ended up burning my whole life to the ground. It was a saloon in a town called Dry Creek. Nothing but smoke, bad whiskey, and worse men. I'd seen auctions before, cattle, horses, land, but never a person. Not until that night. Her name was Clara Whitlow, though I wouldn't learn that for a while. All I saw then was a girl barely holding it together, standing on a crate, like she wasn't being sold to settle her dead father's debts. The auctioneer called out numbers like it was just business. $50, $75. A fat saloon owner with gold teeth kept raising the bid, licking his lips like he already owned her. I knew what he did to girls in his back rooms. I'd seen it too many times. I didn't plan to step in. Wasn't my fight. But then, something twisted in my chest. Could have been memory. Could have been guilt. Could have been Emma. 200, I said, loud enough to stop the whole room. You could have heard a fly drop after that. All eyes turned to me. I stepped out from the corner, slow, deliberate, one hand resting on the colt at my hip. The gavel dropped. Sold, the man said. I paid in cash. $20 bills counted one at a time, so nobody missed the point. When I reached for her hand, she pulled away. "Where are you taking me?" she whispered. "Somewhere safe." We didn't make it 10 steps before the saloon owner stood up, red-faced and spitting. Claimed the sale wasn't legit, that he had some deal worked out with the creditors. I didn't say a word, just slid the colt half out of the holster. That sound, the soft scrape of metal against leather, cleared the air like thunder. Nobody moved. Nobody challenged it. "The deal's done," I said. "Anyone wants to argue can meet me outside." They didn't. We stepped out into the street. She yanked her hand back again, hugging herself like I'd touched her with fire. "Don't think buying me makes you a hero," she snapped. "I don't," I said, "but we need to ride. Those men won't stay quiet for long." I untied Buck, my old buckskin, and swung into the saddle. I held out a hand. She hesitated, but behind us, angry voices were growing louder. "Can you ride?" She nodded. "Yes." "Then get up." She took my hand and climbed up behind me, and we rode hard out of Dry Creek into the open prairie. We didn't speak for the first hour. I felt her behind me, tense, coiled tight. Finally, her voice came, small and sharp. "My father owed money to men who don't forgive debts." "I know. How could you know?" I didn't answer right away. The truth hung on my tongue like rust. "I've seen it before," I said. "Girl in a similar spot. My sister, Emma. She got sold the same way. I was too young to stop it. They found her in the river 3 months later." She didn't say anything for a while, just gripped my belt a little tighter. The sun was sinking low when I saw the smoke. Thick, black, wrong. We crested the ridge and I stopped cold. My ranch, the only piece of land I had to my name, was burning. 5 men on horseback circled the place like wolves, throwing torches, shooting into the air like they'd won something. Clara leaned close. "Whose place is that?" "Mine." I slid off Buck and crouched behind a rock, pulled the rifle from the scabbard. My hands were steady, but my jaw was tight enough to crack. "They followed us," I muttered. "Someone in town must have told them where we'd go." From below, one of the riders cupped his hands and shouted, "Brennan, send the girl down and we'll call it even." Clara stiffened beside me. "You could give me back," she said softly. "Save yourself." I looked at her, really looked. My sister was 19. You know what they found in the river? A girl who no one had stood up for. I swore I wouldn't let that happen again. Another shout. 5 minutes, Brennan. I chambered a round. Can you shoot? A little. There's a pistol in the saddlebag. When I start shooting, stay low. Aim for center mass. Her hand shook as she reached for the gun, but she nodded. Panic gets you killed, I said. Then I fired. The first rider dropped. The rest scattered like rats. Bullets whined past us, chewing through the rocks. They're flanking, I muttered. 2 left, 2 right. How can you be so calm? She asked, ducking down beside me. I'm not, but I've been in worse spots. A rider charged up the slope. I shot him off his horse before he got halfway. Then I heard more hoofbeats behind us. Clara turned fast. 2 more. We were pinned. The horse, I said. Can you get to him? He's 20 yards away. I'll cover you. No, we go together. I stared at her, scared, angry, but still standing. I couldn't help but nod. Last chance, one man below shouted. I raised my rifle. Option 3, I yelled back. What's that? You all go to hell. Gunfire erupted. I dropped another. Clara fired too. Wild, but brave. We were barely holding the ridge when more hoofbeats thundered over the hill. Lawmen. Sheriff Hale and 2 deputies charged in like cavalry, tin stars shining in the dusk. They hit the flanking riders from behind. 2 dropped their weapons. The others ran, didn't make it far. It was over. Hale rode up, tipped his hat. Got your telegram, Cash. Figured you'd need help. Clara looked at me, startled. Telegram? I looked down. I sent word before the auction, just in case. Hale turned to her. You know who he is? She shook her head. This here's Cash Brennan. Used to ride for the Pinkertons. Best tracker I ever met. Been hunting these bastards for 5 years. She stared at me like I was someone else. You didn't buy me just to save me, she said. You were hunting them. I nodded. At first, but you reminded me that revenge don't save people. People do. Hale tossed me a leather satchel. Found this on him. Names, routes, evidence. Enough to bring down the whole ring. I felt something shift inside me. Relief, maybe. Or just the end of the chase. Then one of the prisoners sneered. You think it's over? You didn't kill your sister's killer. That was someone closer. I walked over, rifle still warm in my hand. What do you mean? Ask your daddy about Judge Brennan, he spat. The blood drained from my face. Hale stepped up, looked me in the eye. Your father came to me 6 months back. Said he'd trade your whereabouts for clearing his debts. I told him no, but I think someone else said yes. Clara put her hand on my arm. You all right? No! You didn't do this. Doesn't matter. I spent 5 years killing men thinking it would fix something. All I did was clean up someone else's mess. She stood beside me, calm now. You saved me, maybe others. Does the reason matter if the result is the same? I didn't answer. Hale started gathering prisoners. Told me there was a patch of land north. Good soil, good price. Clara asked, You thinking about that ranch? Depends. On what? Whether I'd be working it alone. She didn't smile, just nodded once. Behind us, the fire burned low. Everything I had was ash. But sometimes, ash makes good soil. And funny thing is, $200 never felt so heavy.